Hey, good morning. It's Pastor Fred here for another video follow through. It is Tuesday morning, and one of the things that can be so difficult for us is to avoid blaming other people for what happens to us. Because, you know, we might have faced temptation and we may have given in, and we might blame even God for that. And James is here to tell us no, that's not only is not a wise move, but it's kind of a false move. There's no truth in it. You can never say, hey, God tempted me. Right? That would mean that God would lead you into sin, like God would set you up for failure. And sometimes we feel that way, and we got to be honest. And this morning I want us to be honest today. That we get tempted, each of us. Some of the times it's because we're where we shouldn't be. Other times it's when we're minding our own business. And something happens. Someone walks up to us, we read something, we come across something, and God's saying, look, the temptation is real, but realize that it's not from Him. And that's actually going to be so huge each and every day. And He kind of sets it up in verse 13 of James chapter 1. He says, let no one, in other words, no way that this should ever happen, that when someone is tempted, they say, I'm being tempted by God. Like God is behind this, He's the one. Right? God is actually the one who would lead us away from that. In fact, we pray that in the Lord's Prayer, don't we? Lead us not into temptation. When Jesus taught His followers and taught us how to pray, He said, Lord, pray that you would lead me away from it. And pray also that not only would you lead me, Lord, but that I would follow you. And that's important. And that's another, again, huge thing of being Christians that we have to remember. That we are following Jesus. That's what it means to be a disciple. That's what it means to be a Christian. That we're following Him. And He's certainly not leading us towards something bad, something that would take us away from Him, something that would cause us to hurt other people or hurt ourselves. He says God cannot be tempted with evil, and He Himself tempts no one. That's not who He is at all. Not even a little bit. Again, sometimes we're faced with temptation and we might give in, and it's too difficult maybe for us to come clean and own it ourselves, but that's what God says to do, to just give it to Him, to just say, hey, yeah, I gave in. I saw the ditch and I fell into it. And maybe it's something you keep doing. And maybe it's time to say, all right, God, I know it's not you. And to realize that, like, what part are you playing? What situations are you putting yourself in? Or how are you responding to things you can't control? And the move is always to go to Him. The move is always to say, all right, Father, how am I going to deal with this? Go in with a plan beforehand. If you know that you're going to, again, imagine like you're going to run into this a certain person, and they're going to make you just angry, and because they always make you angry. Why not go in with a plan? Say, Lord, I'm going to say some positive things to them. I'm going to maybe talk about what they're saying and why it makes me angry. Instead of, having the words being said by them and then you reacting and again giving into that temptation to be right or to argue or whatever it is. Let's ask God, Lord, show me how things can be different. Show me your way and lead me away from that temptation. Because today, again, it's all about the fact that He doesn't lead us. He leads us to good things, to where we can find life and find hope and find direction. That's what He wants to do for us. So instead of blaming, let's start praying. Instead of accusing, how about we start confessing and start asking and listening to God? Because He has just a plan for us of life, a plan that involves us being totally forgiven by Jesus, because He bled, He died, gave us life, gives us hope. And that's the beginning of that plan. That's the beginning of overcoming temptation, of standing firm when it happens on Jesus and saying, look, know what? Not today. Because God's got something better. It's always something better. His forgiveness, His love. All right, so I pray that that's what surrounds you today. That's the plan. Let's go with it. Again, as always, if you have any questions, if you ever need anything, just reach out on our church website, christmemorial.us, at my email. Just shoot me a comment in the video or on our Facebook page, and we're here to help, all right? God's peace, and again, let's go with his plan.